All right. Welcome to CapeCast. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Great.
Rusty?
Brandon.
Doing
BN.
good? David
C.
with the little D?
BN as well.
Chris with a big C?
I'm great, Brandon. How are you?
I'm good.
Thought he was getting personal.
Doing good. Listen, I appreciate you guys joining me. I couldn't convince any of my co-hosts to join me for this one. And depending on how this review goes, maybe that will be telling.
Hey,
we'll see.
come on.
None of us have talked to each other. We don't know each other's thoughts on this movie. Speaking of, tonight we're going to be recording a review of Mortal Kombat 2021. Just came out last weekend. Before we get into that, though, got a few things to hit on. Ryan usually does this, so this is going to be my first time hitting these marks. So we'll see how it goes. Bear with me.
You've got it, man.
So, as I mentioned, this is CapeCast, we're part of the Cinema Machine Network, and you can find us on Twitter at CapeCast Show. Little thing that we just started, which is Patreon. If you want to go to patreon.com/CinemaMachinePod, and any little bit you can donate to us, that would be appreciated. Kind of keep this machine oiled, as we say. And yeah, all of our Patreons that we do have, which we do have a few, surprisingly. So thank you guys for showing us your patronage and your dollars. We appreciate it. So, guys, Mortal Kombat. We watched it, all of us.
Mortal Kombat.
You did, right? You guys watched it, right? You're not just
we watched it.
just pulling my leg.
Okay.
We'll just let you do it.
Your mom.
Okay.
1.5 times. I love that it was quoting the game. Love it.
Yeah, it did that. So I guess what we'll do, there's really we typically don't usually do spoiler bumpers, so to speak. But
We got to spoil this.
excuse me.
I guess I
But
should've
just
asked
in
around
case,
this.
well, just so everybody is aware, we'll be doing spoilers. So if you didn't know, now you know. Yes, that is my lovely voice doing the spoilers. I did so many different takes. Ryan chose that one, and that's what we went with. So
I wouldn't
spoilers
have
going
recognized it.
forward. Yeah, it is also me doing CapeCast,
Do that.
and I'm pretty proud of that one actually.
Well, no,
No
you know,
auto-tune.
I've never doubted you in a vocal booth, although I've never seen you in a vocal booth.
Well, if you have seen me in a vocal booth, then you know that I have to have a guitar on me. I can't just sing. I don't know what to do with my hands. You know,
Just don't look right.
If you don't chew, never mind.
You don't chew
Okay.
Big Red. Good.
Anyway, all right, let's get through the little nitty gritty about Mortal Kombat. So, Mortal Kombat, like I said, was just released April 16th, last weekend, directed by Simon McQuoid. And it was budgeted at, it says right here, actually, no, that's wrong. I didn't update the budget. Unless this is right. It just seems surprising. 160 to 200 million. Maybe that is right. I don't know. Somebody can fact check
$200
me.
million.
Yeah, that seems high. I wonder if I didn't replace that from the Kong versus Skull Island. I bet that's what happened.
You do this often.
I can. I tell you what.
Come on, Brandon.
Fact check.
Chris, you got me.
I'm
Okay,
looking.
Chris is gonna get me.
Yeah.
So, Chris, you get back to
Jamie.
me with the budget.
I just can't reach.
And I'm gonna keep going.
I'm away from my desk right now. My little arms can't really reach to properly search. So
Oh, I'm
I
so
can't.
Oh, you got
cramped.
little arms
Hey.
too.
I got little arms, man. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Little
Yeah,
arms and little legs.
Thought you guys went extinct.
I can't. I just can't reach anything.
It's all right.
You
I'm
got it.
sorry. I tried.
Hold on. Budget of. Give me a
Oh yeah, I
second.
guess a phone's a thing.
They are. They so are.
20 million.
20?
Unless that. Oh nope, that's the old one.
I got here 55. This is just generic.
sounds-
This is Wikipedia.
We'll just make
It's hard
something
to
up.
find budgets these days.
Wait, this also says 110 minutes. Oh yeah, no, that's right. It was an hour 50.
We're professionals, as you can tell.
Oh yeah.
Sure. No.
We can do some fast cuts through this, right?
The budget is unknown. We're just going to leave it at that. Unknown budget.
From budget.
Not
yeah.
irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
Box office, however, guys, listen. I know you're excited. Let me finish. Okay, let me finish this part. The box office had last weekend. I don't know what it is up to this point, but as of last weekend, It was 51.3 million. This also had a simultaneous release with HBO Max. Synopsis for this flick is: hunted by the fearsome warrior Sub-Zero, MMA fighter Cole Young finds sanctuary at the temple of Lord Raiden. Training with experienced fighters Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and the rogue mercenary Kano, Cole prepares to stand with Earth's greatest champions to take on the enemies from Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. That last part is kind of bullcrap because there is no Mortal Kombat in this movie. They never get to it.
No, it is true.
No.
Which is...
They did.
You want to enlighten me? No,
They did.
They didn't get to Mortal Kombat.
They did. They brought it to them.
No,
That was to
like
prevent
their way
them.
of cheating.
No.
No.
They tried to bring it to us. We brought it to them.
But that still wasn't the tournament.
In a
No,
very
it wasn't.
fast.
Yeah,
They were
that
trying
wasn't
to
a tournament.
prevent. I think they were preventing it.
10-minute. Like,
There was no dragon boat. There was no tournament.
sure, no, they didn't.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We can debate. I would go through the cast list, but
We wouldn't know them, and there's too many.
I mean, there's a lot.
Some of those names are a little tough too.
I know a
Yeah.
couple.
Louis Tan, Cole Young, completely new character. All these other, it's all unknowns for the most part, except for what I guess Ludi Lin is kind of known. Chin Han as Shang Tsung. He was in The Dark Knight.
Who played Scorpion?
Joe Taslim
He's
is
in a lot.
apparently
familiar.
was he in like
Avengers. He was the guy.
No, that was Sub-Zero.
right Sub-Zero. He was in what's that show? Chris, you're supposed to be you're the Asian. What is
Let me
what is
Jesus.
well, he is.
And you keep
Damn.
me on a show.
Nobody believes it. Oh, The Raid? Or he's in some of your Fast
Was he
and
on?
Furious
Was he in
movies
the
that you
no,
love
it's, in
so
a,
much?
it's a TV show.
Star
that's,
Trek.
Oh, then
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious? The Tokyo Drift?
Oh, he's in Warrior. Is that what you're talking about?
Warrior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen like 2 episodes of that.
He's in.
I'm sorry
He's in that at
to
some point,
disappoint.
apparently. Okay. So anyway, I'm just going to name off characters instead of the people that played them.
Yeah.
We're all fans of the video game. That's kind of why you guys are here. Grew up playing Mortal Kombat religiously. So obviously, I said Cole Young is a completely new character for the movie. We also have Sonya Blade, Kano, Sub-Zero, Jax, Raiden, Scorpion, Shang Tsung, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Melina, and then there's a few other characters that I had no clue who they were.
Banshee.
Hammer Dude, I didn't really know.
Yeah.
Hammer Dude. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of
And-
later generation.
Gosh, I
Yeah.
love Cabal though.
Did
He was a
you?
cool effect.
Yeah.
I like the voice.
Yeah.
I used to play Cabal in Mortal Kombat 3
Who
Ultimate.
played his voice? That was really familiar. I didn't look that up yet.
I haven't either, but it was a little juxtaposed. Like
Yeah.
it's a voice that I wouldn't have expected
Right.
him to have. It's like a kind of a Brooklyn accent, wasn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, so let's go around the table. Rusty, initial thoughts. Actually, no, let's do this first. Let's talk about your relationship with the Mortal Kombat franchise, and also I guess the original movie, maybe the second movie, Annihilation, and then going into this, any expectations that you had.
Okay. So big Killer Instinct fan.
So not Mortal Kombat.
Combo breaker.
No,
that was quick.
This so I see people with their kids now and their tablets, and I'm like, oh my god, what are they doing? But I used to be the same kid with my Game Boy
Oh yeah.
right here, the whole
Yep.
time with Mortal Kombat 2, Killer Instinct, all that good stuff, and then get home to play my console, and so huge. And Mortal Kombat was probably one of the first like cabinet games I ever played, knowing what I was spending money on.
Yeah.
So love Mortal Kombat. It was big coming up. Then Tekken took it over. Whatever. We're not talking about fighting games. We're talking about Mortal Kombat. Brandon, me and Brandon, when we were kids, niños, We used to backyard wrestle on his trampoline until he almost broke his back. That's a different story too. Our intro music used to be the Mortal Kombat 95
Soundtrack.
well, yes, the soundtrack.
The theme.
Yeah.
Greatest piece of music
Well,
ever.
we had our different ones. We had Test your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Which
so,
they do drop that line in this movie.
Yes,
They do.
And that's okay. So we're going off of initial thoughts and expectations.
Yeah, I
Before we
just kind of want to get you kind of went into it, your relationship with this game, franchise, whatever. So yeah,
I mean, nostalgia packed in there.
The original movie, did you dig that movie? I mean, we were kids when it came out, so it was probably the bee's knees.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I spoke to a friend of mine, Daniel, who was well into adulthood when the first one came out. And he said, well, the first one sucked too, so whatever. And I was like, I thought it was amazing. And I was also 10.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend watching it again, but you should totally watch it again.
So have you watched it again as an adult?
I have, and I love it. It is so bad, but it's so good. The pacing is horrible.
Reptile CGI hold up?
CGI.
And the Goro, dude, the Goro was like, that wasn't CGI at all. That was a bodysuit and puppet. Yeah. So, there was a lot of special effects that were great at that time. I went to the movie, the rental place in Royston. What was that called?
Video show,
and rented, like, when it was out in theaters, rented a Mortal Kombat movie, and it was like a animated, and it was you were there. It was terrible. It was a crock. We thought we were like getting over on the system, and nope. Anyway, so loved it. Love the Mortal Kombat franchise so far, and that's initial thoughts and expectations.
Okay, so all right, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that first, and then we'll get into this movie. So, Chris, your relationship with this franchise.
I mean, I go back with old MK. I remember being the younger brother, like the early video game days. Like my older brother had 6 years on me, so my earliest memories are playing Luigi, obviously being the younger brother, in the Mario games. And then we got Street Fighter. So, my earliest memories are around some of these early video games. And I remember Mortal Kombat coming out and playing that, and that was just my franchise at that point. Out of all these fighting games, like I played Killer Instinct and Tekken and all those, and I loved how these games had like the characters and the unlockables and the different systems. But Mortal Kombat was always the one I came back to, the one I held in like highest regard.
Now, did you ever play Clay Fighters?
I did play a little bit of Clay Fighters. Yeah, yes! I forgot about that one until now. That was a good one.
Yeah, I love some Clay Fighters. What was it? Was Shaq Fu? I used to play that one a lot.
I remember Shaq Fu.
Shaq's like Kung Fu is a imitation Mortal Kombat game.
God.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, I played 1 and 2 early on. I remember I had my Sega Game Gear and I got Mortal Kombat 3. And the first time I fired it up, I made it the furthest I ever made it playing that game for many years to come. So I just got worse and worse as time went on. And Brandon, I think I was talking to you the other day saying how the last one I played was probably like whatever PS3 one that came out. But a couple hours ago, I tried looking up what was the last one that I played. I had pretty vivid memories of it. I thought it was more recent than it was, but it was the PlayStation 2 Deadly Alliance game. That was the last one that like I really played through. They were starting to introduce like way more characters, a lot more backstory, and kind of like the Twisted Metal thing where you're seeing some of the lore. I loved playing that game, trying to unlock everything. I loved that they had the characters with like the different fighting styles. If it was like Boraicho with his drunken style, or they had Johnny Cage doing Jeet Kune Do. So I thought all this stuff was awesome. The 95 movie, when that came out, I saw that in theaters. I remember being just infected with martial arts and that theme song. And I was coming out of that theater like karate against trash cans, just like,
Yes.
don't go near this child because he is
We
just
all did.
swinging every limb that he had.
Between this and like Three Ninjas,
Oh, yeah.
like
Turf
Yes!
Ninjas.
I was
I
like,
don't know if you guys watched that one.
super, yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. That was my jam.
But yeah, I mean, that one affected me. And I love Johnny Cage in that 95 movie. And I had,
Yeah.
if you had asked me when I was a child in that movie, kind of like, what is the perfect film? I'm like, oh, Mortal Kombat. Like,
No
it's
doubt.
perfect. There's no flaws in it at all. It's awesome. I didn't know that it was a ripoff of Enter the Dragon at the time, and I still don't care. Thought it was awesome. Alliance came out. Was that no? Armageddon. What was the second one called?
Annihilation.
Annihilation. Annihilation came out. I hated it even when it came out. Thought it was terrible. I hated what they did to my boy Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
It kind of years went by that I didn't see much with the franchise, and then I don't know if you guys saw it, but I think it was 2010. Somebody like I think he's probably a fairly well established director. He did like this short,
Stephen
almost like a
Knight,
pilot,
I think.
the Mortal Kombat Rebirth.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And Michael Jai White was kind of Jack's kind of going through like the interrogation thing and dropping all these characters. And that had me pretty hyped. I loved the vibe of it. And it was so like dark and real. It kind of fizzled. Then that Legacy series was on YouTube. And I think I watched that for like a little while. It was pretty cool. And maybe there was like a newer animated thing that I caught bits and pieces of. So I've always been interested in what's happening with the franchise. So I had my fingers crossed when this was announced, because I think it is such a cool and fun franchise and property that, if you do it right, it's just so fun. You can't deny, like, it just works out to be like campy, but cool and dark, but funny. I don't know. It's just, it can do so much. So I had tempered expectations because I've seen a lot of things recently that have come out. But I have my fingers crossed.
Okay. We'll pause it right there. Mr. David with a little D.
Let's see.
I just realized I didn't even realize the presentation.
I mean,
Perfect.
It threw me off for a sec. I wanted to respond, and I was like, PG-13?
Just let it go.
Okay, so Mortal Kombat. Played 1 and 2 way back in the day. I don't think I ever owned them. I don't think I was allowed to, probably. So the first one that I owned was, and it may have been on the PlayStation, was Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate. And I'd play the other ones, probably had played them enough to beat them, maybe on easy. We played them with friends and stuff. But Mortal Kombat 3, we ended up having to go somewhere, finding someone who had a printer so that we could print off all the moves, all the fatalities for everybody. And then we came back and put it on the floor and all sat around and did just would spend days on this game. As far as Mortal Kombat's after that, there was a Sub-Zero game at one point, but it was kind of garbage. I think it was on the PlayStation, PlayStation 2.
Was that the side scroller type?
Yes, yeah. And
more of a story game?
Yeah, it was worth a shot, I guess. Did see the 95 movie. I think I was older than the ideal, just top of the spike.
That's
age
where
range. I was. Really?
I was that spike.
I was a little older than it, so it worked, but I could also I'm not gonna say it didn't work, but I could see what the problems were. My disbelief was not entirely suspended. So I enjoyed it, and obviously the song was awesome, but it didn't grab me. Beyond that, I've probably played one of the more recent ones on a modern console where they have, now you can fight like Jason and stuff. I've probably at least played a demo of it, of one of these more recent ones. Haven't dumped a lot of time into another one yet because fighting games have gotten bananas and I don't have the hours to shove into it. Anyway, so coming into this film, from the very first preview, I could tell they didn't care. This wasn't PG-13, obviously it was a red band trailer, but I was like, oh my gosh, are they about to do it right? Zero expectations for story. I knew better. Zero expectations for acting, that kind of stuff. I just want to see everybody beat the hell out of each other and die horribly. And that was my expectations coming in.
Okay. Cool.
That's the author in you.
Yeah. So for me, pretty much on the same line. I mean, obviously, Rusty and I grew up together. So I don't know how, but my parents let me have these games when I was a kid. I still don't understand it. Just to give you, for instance, we had HBO at my house, but they had blocks on everything but G-rated stuff. So why even have HBO? Like, I could watch Black Beauty once every 2 months, and that was about it. But yeah, so I was able to own Mortal Kombat. I remember when Mortal Kombat 2 came out. I believe this would have been Super Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
My cousin Wormy, he was like stoked about it as well. And he, like, the day it came out, he rushed over to my house, and we just like played that for weeks on end. He's since passed. Rest in peace, Wormy. Miss you, bro. Not to bring this podcast down, but yeah, just kind of thought about that for a second. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 3 was probably the last game that in this franchise that I bought. And this was, I think, the game where they started introducing like smoke. Was it Cyrax was another character?
Yeah, the yellow robot guy.
Was
Yeah.
it 2
Red
or
robot.
3?
These had these like
Yellow,
alternate
red,
colorways
maybe.
for characters
No,
that
which
they would
one?
introduce.
There was like, what were the 2 names of those robots?
Cyrax.
Sever or something like
Cyrax
that?
and hang on.
I don't want to look it up. I want to remember. I don't think I'm going to remember it, but
I'm getting yeah. Continue, Brandon.
sorry.
Yeah, you look it up. But yeah, so a lot of new characters. Baraka, I think, was in.
Oh yeah,
3.
I loved Baraka. Cabal was in there.
And then so I was super into that franchise, and then I just kind of grew out of like fighting games. I did dip my toe back in whenever they did the DC versus Mortal Kombat game. I think that was probably like Xbox, maybe Xbox 360. Yeah, so I haven't played anything besides like Injustice had a few Mortal Kombat characters in there. But yeah, loved the 95 movie when it came out. My dad took me to see it. He fell asleep. They set that movie up perfectly for a sequel. By the time the sequel came, obviously it's kind of a wet blanket on that franchise. Although I was stoked at the time because Jax was going to be in it, and he was in the first one, but he was just like in it at the beginning with Sonya, and then she goes off to Mortal Kombat, and he gets left behind on Earth. So they bring him into this one, and then you had a little bit some recasting and stuff. I remember, like in the first one, was it Bridget Wilson who plays Sonya? I loved her in like Last Action Hero, so I like had a major crush.
And Billy Madison.
And Billy Madison.
Oh yeah,
True,
it's her.
true.
Big time.
Yeah. So,
So hot.
yeah,
What's
even
10?
though I've went back and watched it. That's the movie. That's the one.
That one. Yeah. Same chick.
But yeah, it's nostalgic for me. I realize it's not a great movie. Paul W.S. Anderson directed it, and he kind of fell into that video game adaptation, mainly Resident Evil, for a very long time. Probably still in that. He's probably still in the process of making. He just continues to make Mila Jovovich movies because he's married to her. I think he did Monster Hunter recently. David, you may know Monster Hunter. That seems like a game that's up your alley.
Yeah, I heard it was not a good translation, but I'm not invested
Not
in the game
surprising.
or the film.
It was.
I know that you and I like stayed up on his like Resident Evil movies because of Craig.
True, Craig loved him.
Yeah, another one.
Brandon getting
R.I.P.
dark
Craig.
tonight.
I
has
brought him
died?
up.
Okay. So
Who
how
else
about
is-
them
Let's go.
dogs?
Let's go. Death roll.
Let's tribute Death Row in memoriam.
Yeah.
Murphy.
Anyway, so
Oh, I looked it up.
Yeah.
Hang on. So
Cyrax.
we got Sector and Cyrax.
Sector. Somebody said Vector.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was close.
but there's a one called Smoke too, right?
Yeah, he was kind of hidden, I
Smoke.
think.
Okay.
I don't think he
here's
was the
thing.
robot, though.
Smoke was hidden in the whenever when they started like the what's the other world? What's it called? Help me.
Netherworld?
Not like Dark World,
Outer
is it?
World?
Outer
The Dark
World.
World, the Outer World. Yeah, when they were
World.
coming from the Outer World and they had the smoke, I was like, "Oh,
nice,
smoke's
yeah.
coming in!" But no, it's just their portal, whatever. So when we were playing in the cabinets, like the cabinet game, like the arcade game, if you hit a certain button sequence, when the dude walked up and he said, "Whoopsie!" If you hit something,
I know he says
right?
toasty
It would take
though.
you to-
He says toasty. We always said whoopsie.
So did I until like years later. The internet informed me.
it's whoopsie. No, do not trust Reddit. It is whoopsie. Do not make whoopsie. You make whoopsie, you go to Smoke's realm. He whips your butt and he takes your orders. So anyway,
Noted.
and never got there, but it was always a thing. And this is before the internet. So my friend, my cousin told me all about it.
So before we go into the actual movie, I needed to ask you guys. So who was your go-to character of choice whenever you would play Mortal Kombat? Rusty.
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang. Makes sense. Chris.
Original games, I was a Reptile guy, but
Yeah.
in the Deadly Alliance, that was like the last one that I really played a lot of. I was pretty big on Johnny Cage.
Okay. David.
So 3 Ultimates, what I'm thinking about. And there were a couple. I loved Liu Kang. Liu Kang was a fallback if I was getting beat a lot because I'd wreck someone.
Was there
Cabal
a
above
character
him.
that you picked because you knew the combination for the fatality? That would always be Liu Kang for me, or Scorpion. Liu Kang had the like dragon thing, which they actually bring back in this movie.
Yes.
The dragon
Yeah, that was cool.
kind of eating the guy. And then
Baraka had
obviously
his-
Scorpion.
I had his head chop deal. I had that
Yeah.
fatality down.
I had a big, like from MK2, I had this like fold out moves list that had
Oh my
every like
gosh. I
fatality.
used that back
Because
in
this
the
was
day.
before the internet, so you had to buy this
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Can I make a
Um,
confession? Can I make a confession? I'm 34 years old. I have never performed a fatality.
Not even a babality or an animality or
Animality?
friendship.
Not even friendship.
We got to fix this. Not even
about
a
all those.
friendship.
I didn't have internet, man. You guys had
We didn't
dial-up.
either.
was
I
at
don't
a
know how-
stick.
Dude,
We had to print our stuff out.
I didn't have internet. I think I just
When I
subscribed to like Nintendo Power or
Nintendo
something.
Power
It
or
had,
something, yeah.
Rusty, it's
Yeah.
not too late. Mortal Kombat 11's still current.
It is 11. Good Lord.
yeah.
Mortal Kombat
There's time.
X was like 2004.
Was it?
I did make a note. I when you were talking about printing out stuff on the floor, me and my I printed something out like the what all was in the caskets of Mortal Kombat 10 for my buddy one night. Left the printer, came back out of paper at 100 sheets. There's like over 1,000 caskets that you could
Good
potentially
grief.
open in this game. We knew what a whole lot of them were. But
A
parents
book.
were super upset that I wasted my printer paper. Anyway,
All right, David, did you finish your character
Baraka.
choice?
Yeah, Liu
Okay.
Kang was good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common. Liu Kang. I mean,
Mhm.
Sub-Zero was a big favorite of mine.
definitely Sub-Zero.
Down back B.
Mhm.
You know,
I used to think Sub-Zero was like a protagonist. No,
True.
not at all.
Well, not in this movie, especially.
Mhm. Right, because
Okay.
Scorpion was the one that was from hell. You know, it has skull face and stuff.
Lore
He was
thing,
the evil
right.
one.
He was right.
Yeah.
Red versus blue. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, go
Yeah.
ahead, Brandon. It's getting off the rails.
Okay.
Crazy train.
No, that's fine. That's what we do. We do this. We go down rabbit holes. We'll make our way back. It's fun. I just need to throw this up because I made it and I forgot to pull it up. So there you
Hey.
go. Mortal Kombat.
Get over here.
Look at that.
Brandon makes
Um,
he's such a graphic designer.
Such a maker.
Oh, yeah.
Mm. I like
So, all right. Roundtable, initial thoughts, Mortal Kombat. We talked about our experiences going into it, our history, and now it's down to the wire. Let's back it up. Let's do David. David, what'd you think about this movie in a nutshell?
I would say it over-delivered on my expectations.
Okay.
and I wanted to watch it again, and I started it again tonight. And I will finish it. I didn't finish it tonight, but I started it again.
Nice.
I can tell you why I started it again. I don't know if I would have watched it twice if it weren't for Kano. Because yes, the fighting is good, but the freaking Kano.
Who would have thought?
I think I mentioned this to you, David.
I know.
I feel terrible loving Kano. Like, I feel like it's typically a character that I would roll my eyes out and just cringe anytime he's on screen. But I loved Kano in this movie. Like, I laughed at almost everything he said. Sometimes he was
horrible
a little bit, but that guy was perfect for Kano.
Yeah,
he was.
I love, and we mentioned this in our phone call, the meme that actor was hospitalized for carrying this movie.
Yeah, I mean, personality-wise, it's not even close.
But yeah, he was great. Anyway, did you have anything else you want to say? So it over-delivered?
It did.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So. That might be a minority opinion in the world, but it's...
Well, maybe. I mean, critically, it hasn't done well, but I don't know what people were expecting, to be honest with you.
Right. I think expectations determine how it goes.
Yeah. Chris, what about you?
I went in with pretty low expectations. I think, like, as I sat Kelly down to watch it with me, and I was going to play, I was like, "This is gonna be a bad movie." Play.
Right.
It had some highs and lows. A lot more lows for me than highs.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that they did give so much fan service to the games. I think some of it was like a little forced and like probably too much, and it's like just because it's from the game doesn't mean that it necessarily translates well to the movie.
Which one of those would you say is the most egregious?
I mean, I kind of hated like the flawless victory call out towards the end, and like Sub-Zero's very like straight from the game, like ice wall. There was just like a few things where it's like, okay, cool, I get that they're doing that. I appreciate it that it's there, but it's not always great. Like, I loved the down kick on Kano where he like gets tripped. He gets tripped.
Yeah.
Like what you would do. And then he finally jumps
like
it.
The first
and then
time someone picked up a controller.
Yes, because it was like so perfect. Rocked. And it was something that like you only know if you really played the game. It's not like they just handed this to somebody like,
good.
Here's a summary of what this is. Go make the movie. Like, you know that he played the game or spoke to people who really did.
You punched someone in real life and said, "Stop using that move."
Yeah. And it worked in the movie too. It wasn't just like a funny callback of like, if you were a fan of the games, you got it. It really worked in that moment.
Right.
And, you know, that's another Kano moment.
He'd been talking mucho crap.
Yeah. So there was like a lot of those things that like I appreciated, and I liked, you know, a lot of the Kano stuff. Surprisingly, there was a lot of things I really didn't like.
I look forward to hearing about those, because there were some things that would be easy to hate. If I was to call this a movie, like a film, there are some things that were.
But the intro was pretty solid. That's what
I was going to say.
Picked up strong.
Strongest.
It had a really good intro, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then
cinematography was like super strong too. I was like kind of surprised. I started because it was right after I was like, this movie's gonna be bad. And I started it, and we kind of start there, and I was like, okay, maybe not.
Right. Yeah. Rusty.
So I'm not a movie critic. I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat. I loved it. I swallowed that bad word, so I'll get back to you later. I will say that you shouldn't have let Chris talk before me, because he said everything I was going to say.
Sorry. Say it again.
Say it in your own.
It's okay. So to reiterate, so this movie is full of Easter eggs. Full of Easter eggs. Like,
so is.
I was trying to eat dinner while I was watching it, and I was like, this is probably a bad idea, because I'm eating like, you know, this spicy teriyaki chicken. There's like, it looks kind of like blood, nuts, and fatalities, and it's gonna get weird. No, the whole time I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, of course. The reptile scene was actually pretty dope. Like, that's what I would imagine it would be, fighting an invisible monster. And the introduction of, I'm gonna go on ABB rant for a second. So, the brand had never been mentioned before, to my knowledge.
Yeah, that was an invention for the.
Sonya Blade was a freaking like an original character. I never really knew what her like special was. It was a gun. Like, okay, cool. Or actually, I don't even think she had a gun for the first one. So there were a lot of callbacks. The first few callbacks I loved. I'm not gonna go into why, but I loved playing Sonya Blade.
Oh shit!
I was a kid. I was exploring.
Moves.
So
Noted.
Chun-Li.
it made me feel good.
You make me feel good.
So I will say, as many like, of course, or cringe moments where I was like, Kung Lao would never say Kung Lao wins. It's not his line to say. It kind of pissed me off a little bit, but there was even a moment where Sonya and Kano are fighting in the
I
trailer.
don't think so.
And
Kung Lao is the one that says flawless victory, right? And Kano
he
is the
also
one that says
says-
Kano wins.
Oh
Kano
yeah,
wins.
Kano.
You're right.
Yeah,
That's kind of something that Kano would say, I guess.
I agree. I still agree
totally.
with
Never
you.
been a good guy. I was like, when's he gonna turn heel? Because I knew he was gonna turn heel because I'm
Right.
old. I don't know why I did this toward the camera when my microphone's here. Anyway, so I will say my favorite fatality was Kung Lao when he killed that chick who I don't know because I
The
stopped playing
Banshee.
games when
Yeah.
I was a teenager.
Yep.
That was awesome, dude. All the other ones were kind of cringy. I was like, hey, whatever. Oh yeah, oh of course. Here comes the fire dragon, and that's cool and all. What's it really gonna do? Is it gonna chop him in half? No, it's gonna set him on fire. Okay, whatever. It's whatever. So, but I'm obviously really excited about the whole thing.
Yeah.
There were some moments where it was like, this is terrible, and I walked into it saying, "Hey, Kojak, this is going to be a really bad film."
Settle
and
in.
he said,
Oh.
he said,
He went to sleep immediately.
Yep. And he farted every now and then. So I hated Kung Lao in this movie. I did. And the whole time when it started, I was like, who is this character? And they're not gonna make him I forgot the main character's name again.
Cole Young.
Who is that?
It's no one.
He's a new character.
I've never played
That's the
him as a thing. So why is he Black
not a
Panther?
fan of that introduction?
No, and that's the thing. That's
So
a grief that I would
Why
have
is
as well.
Why is he Black Panther?
Like they
though?
didn't have enough to pick from in the freaking series.
yeah. So from what I gather, the studio wanted
Nightwolf.
their
we get
one
a
of their
picture of Nightwolf
Not, we
and
got a
that's
picture,
it?
and I noticed that, and I was thinking T-Hawk with that
Dude.
Street Fighter. Sorry,
Dude.
Nightwolf. I had forgotten his name. Hey, you're the guy who beat Eddie Tobias. Do you remember Jack saying that? You're the guy who beat Eddie Tobias. I think that's an original.
Yeah, at the
Tobias
end-
is an
at the
original
end-
developer.
The whole time
I
where
think.
he's like,
gonna look it up.
where he's like, I'm going to Hollywood. I was like, finally, Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage.
Anyway,
We're just gonna show the bottom because we haven't cast him yet.
right. Leaving it open.
Good call.
If
Yeah.
we even, because we don't want to pay anybody because we don't know
Right.
how this is going to fly.
How's it gonna go?
You guys
Everybody's
remember
campaigning for Ryan
1997,
Reynolds
right?
for that role.
That'd be interesting if Ryan Reynolds got on board.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
It
He's
would
above
do
that.
better and cost
Hey.
more.
He would kill it. It would cost more. Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
HBO Max thing. That's
He would he'd double the price. He would double the budget.
Yeah.
hey man, Mint Mobile will play for it. It's good.
Well, what's funny, he caught wind of that fan casting, and I think today or yesterday he
I
put
saw
out a Johnny Cage, him as Johnny Cage, Mint Mobile.
Street Fighter 2
Little-
graphics looking stuff or arcade graphics.
Well, Mortal Kombat graphics,
Yes,
David.
pixelated. is what I'm saying.
It's Mortal Kombat.
And of course, they had to tie it into MMA. Like,
Yeah. All right. So just to give what I heard about that character was that the studio wanted their like initial note for this movie for the director was they wanted to have a boots on the ground character for people like the audience, essentially, to someone in the movie that was experiencing this whole scenario for the first
player
time.
character.
I mean, they have those characters in the games, though. Who's the cop,
It's
like
true.
the New York cop?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. They could have used.
Also, and
They
as
could
a
have.
viewer, you are the character player. Dude, come on, man, get out of here.
I get the
Yeah.
minds that occurred to me, something like that kind of.
Cole,
What does it
yeah,
look
they kept calling him Cole. I was like, am I that freaking old right now?
Yeah.
That I don't-
Yeah, no, he's new, completely fabricated for this movie, and yeah, they definitely could have used a different. I mean, I thought that he was going to end up. I don't know about you guys. It seemed like they were setting him up to become Scorpion.
That's
Like,
what
that's what I thought
Right.
it was leading to.
Like he would be embodied by the spirit of his ancestors.
Right.
I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but nope. He's
because
he's
it never
punch
came out of
absorber
his
man.
It never came out
And
of
opened his
Scorpion's
little mouth
hand.
or whatever.
Right.
My
well,
problem-
that
I
was
think-
kind of that was not part of it at all. It was always a spear, and then the whole thing
Snaky
that
little
came out of
dude,
his
yeah.
mouth. That
Yeah.
was some 95.
That's 95
cinematics,
stuff.
and it was beautiful.
Stuck in
Yeah.
that
But
tree.
by the way, every time I drive by a pecan orchard and I see rows of trees, I think of that fight scene. I still do.
Me
awesome.
too.
Impact.
It's really good.
Impact.
Yeah. Look, here's my problem. Even if they could have potentially kept Cole. I think if for it to have worked better, his superpower would have had like cool. He has armor, and when he was fighting Goro, it began to glow, and then she's like, "Use the uppercut." Oh, call back to his first fight. He should have done a Shoryuken at least. I realize wrong franchise, but like he just kind of pops it, and the dude's like, "Whoa!"
I just
bleeding
hated
now.
the superpowers in general.
And then he does, and then he has just. It was kind of
Like
not
how
interesting.
they unlock them.
This is
Yeah.
Scorpion's heir. He could have had way cooler powers. They could have given him lots of cool stuff, but no, he just kind of has batons. And
It was
Right.
it was
They
kind of
made him
weird
Jesus.
having them like. I know that they were trying to like ground this for whatever reason in realism in terms of them like trying to like unlock this power that they have inside them, and approach it where it's like Kano gets mad and then he for no reason he has a laser out of his eye and then
Fireballs.
Picking on him at
Jackson
dinner.
just
Like
has
they knew
animatronic
they were-
arms that appear.
I loved it.
It
He's
is
been talking crap
bigger.
the whole time. I
When
love
Liu
when they
Kang-
piled on him.
When Liu Kang finally came and showed himself, I was like, "Oh, thank God, this Joker is not trying to play Liu Kang," because it was trying. I was like, "This is not how it goes. Don't make Liu Kang a cage fighter because that's not how it is. He's supposed to be this meek fighter." And then we have a Michael Jackson impersonator, like scrolling, like, "I'm Liu Kang. I will show you how to unlock your powers." I
It was
kind of
a
checked
little
out.
funny.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I checked out for about a solid 10, 15 minutes through that whole sequence where they were like, "And here's Raiden, by the way.
Yeah.
He keeps us safe.
Yeah,
Get
I
outta
mean,
here. You're supposed to be like the pillars that hold this whole thing down." And
what's the
The
guy in the
story
original
didn't matter to me.
Robin? Was it
make-
Robin
That's
Shao?
what made
Yeah,
me mad.
Robin
The
Shao.
Robin
Immortal.
Shu? I don't know how you say his
When they
last
showed the silhouette,
He was
I thought he was coming
Beverly
back.
Hills
Was it
Ninja.
name. He was perfect as Liu Kang.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yep.
this guy
Yeah.
was just such a.
he's like too little.
He was so little and thin.
was
and,
small.
Like
Don't get me wrong, dude was shredded
That came
when he
came
had the
after
shirt off
Beverly
later,
Hills Ninja,
but still,
right?
yeah.
yeah.
Shredded. Here, he never missed chest and arms day. But did you see his back?
Did you see his back?
No, was it that?
He's a bird, bro.
Oh. In any case, I was not a fan of the Liu
Shoulder
Kang
blades,
casting.
But
That little
those,
bird.
those shoulders, bro, he could carry the world on those. Could not carry
Well.
a tic tac on his back. Anyway, go ahead.
Hmm.
But
Now-
to be fair, he's pushing a lot. So,
True.
you know.
What did you do today?
And
Indeed.
bicycle
Well,
kicking.
Yeah,
He
they did have that.
bicycle
That
kick
was
at the end.
That was cool.
Mhm.
I appreciated all the nods. I'm going to watch it again for the Easter eggs. And that's
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's what I'll say. I mean, this movie is obviously super. I mean, I don't know if it's intentional, but it seems to be super self-aware of what it is, and I
100%.
appreciate that. I don't think it's like high art by any means, but as a fan of this franchise, I mean, even though I rolled my eyes at some of the stuff and it was like, yeah, this is cheese, but it is what it is. I had more fun watching this than say watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So
sure.
I'm not going to knock it too hard because I actually did enjoy. I didn't like regret watching it.
Than Kong vs. Godzilla. I thought this was, a more enjoyable watch for me.
I need to watch this.
And this did make me want to play 11.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it? Do you guys think it would have done better as a series? Like
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
this feels like episode 1 of a series instead of a contained movie. Like it kind of sets the floor. Like I don't think I would be as hard on it if I could go into the next episode or I had the next episode coming next week or something. Like I'll be like, all right, this is a good foundation, but as a self-contained movie, doesn't work as well.
To be fair, if you were reviewing every episode, I know you, Brandon, you probably would.
Think so?
Yeah, 100%.
Once he got to like episode 3, then he would.
Listen,
I remember.
I don't know
how excited we were for the first half, and then but you should have done this.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Listen, with WandaVision, I was the one saying, at least they're trying something different. I was giving them a pass, sure. Until they kind of crap the bed halfway through, in my opinion. Okay.
I was just giving a jab. You don't have to defend the jab, by the way.
Here's
talking
my
Mortal
thoughts.
Kombat. He does.
Yeah.
So why is Cole Young's his power? Why is his Black Panther his suit? That's all it is. It's a suit of armor that.
Well,
why is anyone's power anything?
Right.
I think it's
everybody's
original, dude.
I think the connection is
he takes a beating.
In MMA, he took a beating.
Yeah.
By the way, nothing happened to him in that fight. He tapped to nothing. That wasn't like a real.
It wasn't a real hold, was it? And how did he lose? How did he lose the armbar?
Him a little bit.
I don't know how, dude.
It was.
He was fighting,
but he didn't. He wasn't holding his right arm. He could have got that thing out of his.
Joe Rogan,
lock.
Yeah,
come here.
it was.
We need some commentary.
It was bad.
Dr. Joe. I don't know how dude got out of that arm bar he almost had him in. I was watching it again today. Like, where did he mess up? And the girl, his corner goes, use the uppercut. Like,
yeah,
that's not what a corner would say.
Like,
use the uppercut.
You have so much to draw from right now to make a realistic fight, and then they do that.
It was like the video. It was a video game thing.
The devoweling of Goro, how human it made him.
That
was cool.
I'm glad they didn't try to hold him off like the big guns.
Right. Because how many times did you ever, while you were playing the video game, fight Goro?
Got killed
not many because it was hard to get there.
Dude was scary AF, right? And then you get there and it's like, oh, God. And then you watch the 95 film and you're like, oh, my God, it's him. And then you watch it now and it's like, oh, God, it's terrible. And then so they did a good job of recreating. Hey, and when it first popped out, I was like, holy crap, it's my ex. But tore him down climbed him like a tree and chopped him down, and that was freaking awesome. I really enjoyed that fight. I really did enjoy that fight. And
yeah.
I'm just glad they didn't save it at the end.
That was pretty cool, to bring that kind of back, I guess. I don't know. I felt conflicted because I was like, yeah, that's a cop out. You're totally jacking that from Marvel, but at the same time, it's like a nod, I guess. But anyway,
I don't know if it's a nod. I don't know if it's intentional, but maybe it is.
Are you saying it referenced something else?
If it's not a nod,
Black Panther.
If it's not a nod, it's a ripoff. It's
the
either
costume?
really cool or really not cool.
You talking about Cole's outfit?
No,
just the power of the absorption and then throwing it back. But I feel like I've seen it in a few different things before over the years.
Yeah,
over the years, or over the past 5.
Well, more now.
My thing about that, I don't think he pulled it off again after Goro. I don't remember him explode, storing power and then exploding it on. I think it was Sub-Zero he fought next.
He couldn't really on Sub-Zero because it was a bunch of magic power. Which, by the way, I never thought
he should have been able to
never thought of them as sorcerers. I always thought of them as like ninjas, right?
Yeah.
The cloak ninjas. Which, by the way, costume design. I'm
Yeah,
I thought it was
sorry.
okay.
Costume design was terrible. His
I think
face
that's
mask was this
the
big.
direction of them trying to ground this in some sort of like Christopher Nolan approach, where they try to make it like some sort of like realistic costuming approach.
Bro, I've got a form-fitting face mask in my back pocket.
Form-fitting
right now
face mask.
because,
Form-fitting.
because it's 2021 and we've had 2 years of COVID. So we can make face masks not be this big. That's all.
I thought they were cool.
Sure.
I like their outfits. Just putting that
I
out.
haven't revisited 95, but I like it better.
I like that traditional approach of their outfits. I would have appreciated something more in line with that. Even it was, I just wanted something that resembled it really, instead of something completely different. But
I think I liked it because it made them seem a little larger than just two characters. It made them seem like entities, kind of, which they are. They were more represented.
Yeah.
They're both like real big powers, and so I guess a jacked up suit of armor kind of helped represent versus just colored ninja outfit type of thing, I guess.
Sure.
so
It was
talked
the
about-
mouthpiece for me, dog.
he's hung up on that.
Pops it off sometimes.
I'm really hung up on that. Yeah, and hey, in true, in true.
Talking about the fatality?
COVID, he was like, you can't hold me until I take my mask off. So when I get really close to you to speak, I'm gonna take my mask off. So anyway, and when I'm done speaking, I'm gonna put it back on because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotta show my
God,
face.
I laughed so hard thinking
They
about
paid me to be in
hometown.
the movie, so need to
Hang
take
on,
this
I'm gonna
off
take
for
the
a little
mask
bit.
off because I can't sneeze or cough without it. Anyway, so I was saying. Anyway, you're wrapping up.
No. I was just gonna say I thought the casting of both. I'll just say their character name, not their like real names within the movie, because I don't remember what their actual real names in the movie were. But Scorpion and Sub-Zero, I thought they were both good. And that initial fight between them, the two of them in the beginning, like Chris was saying, I thought that was great. But again, we talked about Liu Kang being kind of weirdly cast, as well as I know Rusty, you said you had your hang-ups with Kung Lao. I thought Sonya was not great as far as casting is concerned. I thought she was a very
Think
weak
of
link.
Raiden and Shang Tsung.
Raiden was pretty forgettable. So what is Raiden kept saying? I can't interfere with, I can't, but he
Yeah.
does. And Shang Tsung's interfering the entire time.
Right. Yeah.
Who's moderating the interfering? Like
None
who's?
of- they stopped caring at some point.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Because early on, she's like, "You're breaking the rules," and he's like, "I'll deal with the ancients," or something like, "You're breaking the rules that are written in the ancient stones," and he's like, "I'll deal with the ancient stones," or something like that. And that's the last we hear about it.
Yeah.
Well, Raiden is the only other one that's introduced. So who watches the Watchers? But so is it Shang Tsung?
Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
Is it
Shang
Shang
Tsung.
Tsung?
Is it
Shang Tsung? You can always tell who's a good guy and who's a bad guy because Shang Tsung's always on the offensive. He's always trying to
Shang
get
Tsung.
around. He's always trying to break the rules to like offend somebody, right? But then you got Raiden over here that's like, you know what? I'm gonna defend us all. That makes it okay.
Yeah. You're right. Well put. But yeah, I mean, I thought Sonya was. I thought her fight sequences were awful. I thought she was very like her training. I'm assuming, I don't know if she has a background in this or not, but it felt like she was a pretty green to martial arts, and yeah, she didn't hit the mark when it comes to her fight sequences. But I mean, I thought, the first battle was great, and the last battle I thought it was good too. Besides, just like for some reason, Sub-Zero ices Cole's family, but not to death like he did Scorpion's family. He's just
Scorpion
like,
just didn't punch the ice. Scorpion was supposed to punch the ice. That would have done it.
yeah, I guess so.
Just stand there.
That was the secret.
He come
I don't know.
I'm telling you, the story meant so little to me, and even the actors, like it meant so little to me.
Was terrible.
I thought that his
was
ending
Sub-Zero,
was great though. I thought that Jax's end, like when he's Jax, not Metal Arm Jax, whenever he freezes his arms, breaks them off, and then pushes him off the ledge, and he like falls on that like platform really brutally.
Yes,
that was good.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's actually a fatality of
who was the one? Who was it Kano and Hammer guy that ended up on the bridge that's supposed to have all the spiky stuff in the game?
Jackson Hammer guy.
Jackson the Hammer guy. That was a totally lackluster fight. It was terrible. And the guy like, oh, you broke my hammer.
Dude, what a freaking missed opportunity. Like that level is known for those spikes at the bottom. You uppercut them.
Use the uppercut. That's where you use the uppercut.
And they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Why? With this movie being so big into fan service, I don't understand why even go to that location if you're going to do the thing that everybody knows from that level. I did appreciate, though, I will say this. I did appreciate that they set up these fight sequences in stages, so to speak.
Yes.
Like they felt like they were stages from the game.
However, so much that doesn't work on a story level, I love that they even pulled it. They were like, this is what we're going to do. This is what's happening. We're going to have individual levels with individual fights. It's awesome.
Right.
It was all just a little on the nose. That
might have been why it was perfect for me.
It was.
So, but I'm gonna watch
depending on how hard you're gonna be on the movie. I think that, I mean, for me, it's not something that I'm gonna return to, like maybe ever. I don't know.
I'll tell you this: Kano's his jokes don't hit as hard on the second go round because you've already heard them.
They're not as funny.
Not quite.
Well, that's too bad. Okay. So other than that, I mean, as far as like looking at my notes to see if there's anything. Here's a question. Dude, I do this for a living. Okay. We got 2 Patreons at $2 a month, man. We're running
obligated
now. Split between 3 people. It's pretty. How you think I afford these guitars? How is Scorpion? How does he come back? I don't know. He's in the underworld. How does he make it back? Is that ever explained?
I need to go the second watch and to because
there's a lot of plot holes in this movie.
It's hinting that it has to do with the dagger. It's like ravel the dagger back up with cord, and then that's what the impression I got from his like visions was.
So,
but I don't remember that ever happening.
The dagger drew blood.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all it was. He started using
the dagger killed him. How'd that kill him? He stabbed him in the shoulder. Why'd that kill him?
Yeah, I was thinking about that at the beginning too, but it looked pretty. So
it was cool. Tons of CGI blood.
I feel like by the time we got to Scorpion coming back, they knew that nothing made sense and didn't care.
Right. Yeah. They'd given up too.
So I know 2 out of the 4 squares in this big square right now have children. Have you ever tried to quiet a child while a battle's going on?
And just stick it in the drawer?
What's the hardest thing to hide when your village is being pillaged?
I thought about
maybe a screaming freaking toddler.
It makes less sense on the second watch too, because she's got another kid. Why separate them? Why only take care of one?
Because the movie needed one to survive.
Yeah.
Maybe
she was thinking that. Maybe she was thinking the bloodline. She was like, "All right, we'll pop you in the safe.
The movie.
Hope somebody comes back."
Here's what the director said: "You got to hide that kid down there because
Lord Raiden, I hope you're listening with your lightning powers."
He didn't
just
show up. Right. There was plot holes. It's almost like there wasn't enough plot for them to be considered plot holes. They're like plot oceans, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd he come
Maybe
around?
number 2 will be better.
Well, okay. That leads me to my last question. Do you guys think that they're going to make a sequel to this movie? Do you think that it will warrant one? Obviously, it sets up one. Depending on, I mean, like I said, I think it's done 50 some odd million of dollars in box office. This was
pretty big on views for HBO Max, right?
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will do. I think it'll continue to do pretty decent. Especially, I don't know how it's doing overseas, but it seems like a movie that's definitely geared for a foreign market. Um, and that's especially China's box office. That's like huge that's like Hollywood's. That's the number two. They look at U.S. and they look at China, and I don't know what it is. Internationally, I don't know if this. I think the 51.3 is complete, like worldwide total. But yeah, and then you also it's in tandem with the HBO Max deal, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I feel like they will. I think they'll make another sequel to this, and depending on who directs it. I don't know anything about this director. I don't know what he's done before this, but I think that if they could have gotten somebody like, I don't know, just somebody a little more seasoned, even with an unknown cast, I still feel like more of a dude. Here's the thing. If you got a Zack Snyder type to do it, a Mortal Kombat movie, it would be amazing.
Beautiful.
Just going to say that right now.
I'm with that.
They tried to do a little Zack Snyder slow-mo in the beginning with the water bucket spilling on the ground.
That water bucket was like, come on.
Because
Some
Zack
things are
Zack
so
Snyder
transparent.
he was a purveyor of slow motion. So
He was. It's true.
Here's my take on the sequel.
first,
Dim the facts, Rusty.
them's the rules.
I don't know if I don't think there's any way I could like a sequel as much as I enjoyed this one, because this one felt a little bit like on the level of Tommy Wiseau's The Room, as far as just kind of like, yes, she was a bad actor. I didn't, when I come to think about it, I didn't love the actor that was Kung Lao or Shang Tsung, or I didn't
Raiden.
love, or Raiden or
Who's that?
Liu Kang.
Liu Kang. I just remember the bicycle. I didn't love the actors, but something about just the common and just the idea of them, of the people who did fight, and the fact that they were able to pull it off, and then the shout outs to the game, for some reason those worked. Even like flawless victory, I could see him because he had kind of a swagger about him anyway, and so,
Which is weird for Kung Lao to me. It's not as I remember him.
I didn't even necessarily love him as Kung Lao. I always liked Kung Lao. Seemed quieter and a little more mature in the game.
Yeah.
Not that you really have a lot to go by, but
Give me Night Wolf.
Night Wolf. I mean, they showed a picture. It's almost like he already existed in a previous time. If they make a
I
sequel,
want to see.
there has to be time travel. They got to be able to pull off everything.
Well, it seems like they kind
I
of
got
kept
so
it to
excited
where
when I saw
they can
They
bring
can
back
pull
whoever
some
they
bad
want
guys.
to.
Yes, yeah. Maybe unless they got obliterated. Like, see, if they killed Goro.
Because if they die, they go to the
Right. Scorpion went to, was it Hell
Underworld.
or the Underworld, the Other World, Outer World,
Outer World is
Nether
where
World?
Outer Realm.
Outer Realm. Yeah, realms.
Yes.
So in one of the Mortal Kombat games, there's a horse with 4 arms. There's like it's like an octoped.
Don't forget about Girl Goro too.
Right, there's that too. There's a lot of
They
sequel
did- by the way,
story fodder.
Goro was not Goro's name in this one. They called him by his Christian
Called
name.
him something else. Yeah. Did no one call him
It
Goro?
was.
Maybe he
I
was like,
thought he's King Goro.
Prince Goro.
Prince Goro.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't
what they
think
call-
Reptile resembled his fighting character. Sorry to jump back in time.
Well, I
That was
mean-
something that was on my shoulder.
No, Reptile. He's like a skin changer type character. So he didn't wear the
That's right.
traditional.
Shapeshifter.
That's
Yeah.
right.
He didn't. And they do the same thing in the '95 movie. Like he's a like actual lizard looking reptile,
Maybe
and
becomes
then
a statue.
yeah,
So going
Yeah.
back,
and well, then he's
Going
actually
back.
in like the same garb as like Scorpion and Sub-Zero later.
But green.
Or
right?
unless that's in Annihilation, I can't remember.
No, you're right. It's the 95.
Okay,
so David,
yeah,
that
I would
was
love to see. I would love to see Reptile in full, like
Mhm.
Not Reptile, not Godzilla, not Mini
No.
Godzilla.
Yeah. Because I loved being Reptile and spitting the acid on people when I was.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, that was
So
another
good.
Hey, pull off.
Yeah,
Rusty, what do you?
So-
what do you?
What I was trying to say is, David, you're the one who shared the trailer with me the first time in group chat with Brandon. Sorry,
I was
Chris.
really stoked.
So my initial reaction and how amped I was to see that, like this movie based on that, compared to my expectations at the first time I saw that trailer, dude, like 2 out of 10. Not gonna lie, I was amped up about that trailer. It was so. It was. They could have done a lot, and I guess
I think the trailer
Raymond, I'm a critic.
tells you what you're going to get.
So did your review go down?
I was
from
just
the beginning
about to
of this
ask.
review, because
Started
you were
with
like
love.
you were saying you loved this movie at the beginning. Now you're 2 out of 10.
No. Compared to that, now as a fan of Mortal Kombat, I love the movie. As a movie, it's a terrible movie.
That's what I may be learning on the second watch, and I already knew it.
Yeah,
I was planning. I got another quirk real fast.
Go for it.
Scorpion speaks Japanese the whole movie. I think.
Get over here.
Except for one line. Get over here. Why does he speak English on that one line? Can't ask questions like that in this movie.
Well,
it's for Lily David.
The movie needed him to say, "Get over here,"
because the movie needed it, and like for some reason, that just totally worked for me. Get over.
Just like the movie needed Kung Lao to say "flawless victory." Needed Kano to say "Kano wins." They don't. You wouldn't say that. Why would you say that?
Test your might. They even say
Test
it
your
like
might.
the game.
Yes.
What was the
That got me.
What's the other one? Your soul is mine.
Your soul is mine. Yes.
Fatality.
That was a thing. That was a thing that he actually said. Though.
Yeah, as you start the fight type stuff or something like that, or when he wins, your soul is mine. Maybe during his fatality.
You can kill them, but their soul is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of
takes it. And he straight takes.
Yeah.
I really do miss I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy that was Shang Tsung in the beginning. That guy's got such a evil face. Like his face.
I
is
liked
just
him
made
better
for Shang Tsung
than this one. Actors were a weak
for me at all.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean,
And
the casting was pretty weak across the board, except for, in my opinion, Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I thought both of them were pretty solid. And Kano. Yeah.
Let me tell you something about Kano. A theory. So he gets killed by getting stabbed in the eye. Let's just assume he doesn't actually die. But if he came back, I think he would have the metal plate. I think that's where he's going to get the metal plate on his face.
Yeah, he's going to.
Yeah.
I got lasers. You only got 5
You haven't seen the last of Kano. Oh, by the way, you guys remember in the first trailer fight or the second trailer fight? Yeah, it was the trailer fight. When she kicks something or he deflects a knife and it goes into the dartboard and there's that picture that's hanging. You know, Kano is all writing stuff and drawing pictures all the time. I froze frame it. It was terribly pixelated, but it's Sonya next to Kano's head without a corpse or without a body, and it says Kano above it, and then it says "Love Sonya," and it's foreshadowing. So
I'm looking for
that. Cool cinema buffs. Good luck freezing that frame.
I'll catch it.
But it's a thing.
Okay. Noted.
Easter eggs. I'm telling you, they're there. All right. Got to go to bed.
Yep. All right. Well,
just walk away.
Just leave. Bye.
It's fine.
Well, listen. I think that about does it for this review. I think we've talked more about this movie than it deserves. And I will say,
B-sides.
I'm just saying, if you've made it this far, you already know what you got into, and you probably were on the same page as us. I can't really see many people thinking this movie is more than what it is, but for what it is, I think it's enjoyable. And
me too. I think
as far as just big dumb fun, like the game is. I mean, the game, that's what the game is. The game is big dumb fun. There's no use trying to make more of the lore than what's there. But
I think there is.
So, does anybody have anything they want to plug before they leave? Anybody, David? You got a book you want to plug? You know that you know
I
you
could.
got. You're a writer. Silix Air,
Yeah.
Sawmills
I'm bad at it.
Hope. Any of that
That's-
stuff? It's on
you did
Amazon,
it. That's
Book Million,
it.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There you go. I did it.
That's all.
Rusty, got anything you want to plug?
I give paint estimates, and I play in a pretty awesome rock and roll band called Something Once Sacred. Coming
That's
at
good.
you,
Awesome.
Anderson, South Carolina on March 15th. Club
All right.
134. We'll
Sounds
see
good. I hear their bass player is pretty attractive.
We don't have to talk about them.
No, he is. He is.
Some would say he's a tree. I wouldn't say that, but some would say that.
You don't want to agree with the people that would say that. You don't want to be on the same side as those people.
You definitely don't.
One of these days, he'll get the water out of his ear finally.
One day.
We don't want that to happen either. Then I'll
I hope
stop.
not. Wait, it's you?
Chris, what? Chris, what you got?
Chris,
How
you
do I
want to
just-
push
I wanna
anything?
plug-
Grapplegram?
No, I'll just plug Brandon's
You can't
Patreon.
say Patreon. No, you can't say that. You said
He
that
needs
last
another
time.
He
$2.
said my book. He can say your Patreon.
Yeah.
Check Chris out on Grapplegram Instagram. Take some beautiful shots with
The
his camera that he's
Grapplegram.
using right now.
Grapplegram.
Speaking of MMA, Chris knows his way around an octagon. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
Pentagons too. Love the devil.
Yep. So, well, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. We should
My
do this
pleasure.
again. This was fun. For those out there that want to follow us on the Twitter sphere, you can find us at CapeCast Show. And like Chris mentioned, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/cinemachinepod. Throw us your dollars. We would appreciate it. Or don't. Listen for free. It's fun. We're enjoying doing this, so we appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, I think that about does it. Again, thanks for watching, and go watch Mortal Kombat or not.
Yep. Yeah, do it.
It's up to you. The choice is
You
yours.
might.
Just do it.